Okay, hey everybody, Nikki Burnett here with Taste Life Nutrition. I am with Gabrielle Grandel, the amazing functional medicine health coach who works with me with my clients.
Hi,
And this is
guys.
Functional Friday.
Hi, everybody.
So, yeah. So, as we did last week, we are discussing some topics that are a little bit intense for some people, and that's okay because we like to have these discussions. And so, what we want to talk about are masks and all things masks, and we want to give you our thoughts on them, our research on them, and then just make sure that you understand that we're not doctors. This is not medical advice, but we're starting a conversation, and these are conversations that Gabrielle and I have on a regular basis, as well as with other people.
Mhm. Yep, just here to, thanks, Nikki. That's totally why we're here, and we welcome, your feedback, and we're here to talk about truth and medical freedom, and this is for education purposes and all those things. So
Yeah, and jump in. We are gonna do our best to give you it's our thoughts, but it's based in fact. And so we want you to jump in and join in on the conversation. I really wish that we could have the conversation while we're live having the conversation. Unfortunately, Zoom doesn't allow that, or it's not. I don't know. The technology is not there. I'm not sure what it is, but but when we finish this, we want to post the studies that we get our information from, and we want to give you the information that we have. And if there's other information that maybe we haven't seen, highly possible, then we want you to post that too. So we want facts, we want studies, and we want to just have the conversation and continue the conversation, because unfortunately this could go on for a little bit of time, but maybe it won't. So let's just jump in and start talking about it. And I think one of the studies, so Gabrielle has a couple of studies that she liked to share, and the first one is so it's on the type of masks. So I got my notes here, losing my train of thought. But there are the types of masks that are required. And I think what we want to understand is why certain types of masks are required, where the data comes from that shows that these masks do anything at all, and where is the logic in some of these mandates and requirements.
mhm, exactly. And I wanted to share some evidence, and just to think critically about if there was something that worked and protected us and protected others. It would probably be more specific. It would be, a mask that was fitted to each individual, and it would be made out of a particular type of material. It wouldn't be this, haphazard. You can wear a scarf, and you can wear, an old T-shirt, and you can wear a respirator, and you can wear this or that. So
A bandana,
a
the one that
bandana,
gets me,
right?
the ones that are the chiffon, where you see everything. So what is it actually doing? And again, we want to look at the science.
Yeah.
Where is the science that any of this has any effectiveness except for making other people feel better?
Mm-hmm. Right. And making the people that are wearing it feel poorly in a lot of cases too. So so let's jump in. So I've got a couple of different studies, and there's a lot more out there, guys, that I'm happy to reference and share with you as well. But here's a couple that we can talk about today. So this one is entitled "A Cluster Randomized Trial of Cloth Masks Compared with Medical Masks in Healthcare Workers." And this showed that the physical properties of a cloth mask, when reused, show the frequency and effectiveness of cleaning, and increased moisture retention may potentially increase the infection risk. So the cloth masks that they're recommending that we wear actually have they may potentially increase the infection risk. So that was interesting. This one was titled Face Masks for the Public During the COVID-19 Crisis. And the conclusion was the study found that so these were people that were in a operating room. The study found that the infection rate was 4.7% with masks and 3.5% without the masks. So it was higher with the masks. And there was no increase in surgical site infections when masks were not worn. So nothing got worse, even though they weren't wearing a mask. That's very interesting too.
So interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. And what does that tell us? Again, we want to be logical about these things. We want safety. We want to take care of each other. We want to take care of ourselves, but we need to have accountability, and logic
and evidence.
And that's
yes.
and evidence.
And personal responsibility.
Where a lot of this stuff is lacking. So going to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I've got a few more.
Oh, sorry. Good.
That's okay.
Go, girl.
I just got a few more, just on the same, kind of line of thinking of people that are compromised, right? Where the last study we were talking about was the people in the OR. We're saying that these people should be wearing masks potentially. If anybody is going to wear one, these would be the people that would wear one. And it's not helping them. It's actually hurting. And so this is another, and to think about too, the healthcare providers, that are wearing them to protect the individual that they're working with or on. It's not helping that situation. This study was entitled The Physiological Impact of Wearing an N95 Mask During Hemodialysis as a Precaution Against SARS in Patients with End-Stage Renal Disease. So these were folks that were in dialysis, again, compromised people. 70% of the patients showed a reduction in partial pressure of oxygen and developed various degrees of hypoxemia. Wearing an N95 mask significantly reduced the oxygen level, increased the respiratory rate, and increased the occurrence of chest discomfort and respiratory distress. So it actually made their oxygen levels and worse and more uncomfortable. So,
yeah. And that's a really interesting study too, because it's really important. What we know is that there is a population that needs to be protected. What we also know is that this is real. We know that it's real. We know that all kinds of people are getting infected and having symptoms, and young and old alike are going to the emergency department, or they're spending their time. And what we're not doing is discounting any of this, but we know for sure that the elderly and those who are, as you said, compromised, they have the multiple comorbidities. Those who are on dialysis are obviously very sick people who we need to keep safe. And so showing that putting them in a mask, so they're already having trouble, and then putting them in a mask for their safety is not keeping them safe. It's actually creating more stress on their body. It's a problem. And again, we've got to go back to logic and data.
Yeah, because I think everybody is interested in helping themselves and helping their fellow neighbor, and I would wear a mask if someone could prove to me that it was actually going to protect others and or protect myself, and that it wasn't causing me any harm, right? But because none of that has been proven, and actually proven to the contrary in a lot of cases, then it shouldn't be a requirement or a mandate. There should be a choice. And there's also, we're talking about these studies that have been performed, and there's others, but what hasn't been looked at is long-term studies of effects on wearing masks in 100-degree heat, and wearing masks for people that have anemia and COPD and lower oxygen levels, or elderly, or children, and the psychological effects that this has from not being able to pick up on facial expressions and body language. You know, our communication is more nonverbal than it is verbal. And so we have some other more information to share on masks and what results when you wear masks and when you don't.
Yeah. So this is sort of I love this video. So we found a video. It was through an article with studies and that kind of thing. So again, and this is a physician who created this video. Many of you may have seen it and you may not have, but I find it very compelling. And so I'm gonna go ahead. We're praying that this is gonna work. So I'm gonna share my screen and share. There we go. And I'm going to play this video. It's only about 3 minutes.
The same size as COVID-19 or larger goes through and around a surgical. Now, a cloth mask I borrowed from my wife.
So it's kind of hard to hear on my end, but
Is it?
I think everybody can see and figure out what's going on. He's just using different types of masks and then using this vape, right, to show how the aerosols and the air gets in and around masks, and viruses are smaller than that.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly the point. Is what we breathe is smaller droplets, and the virus smaller droplets than this vape is, and it's not just going around; it's going directly through the mask. And so he goes on, and if you want me to stop, that's fine. But he goes on, and we'll post this link because I think it's a great link. You can find it on YouTube. This happens to be through Video Press. But he goes through some of the more, even the really heavy duty masks. None of them work.
Let's go ahead and show it. I wasn't trying to stop it. I just wanted to let you know I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm hoping though, because I can see that it's on the video. Thankfully, that's the beauty of Facebook Live. I can see it. But I'll just continue, but know that if you can't hear it, then we'll post the link so you can watch it yourself.
Cool.
Results, they do it everywhere. And then I went and bought a I don't have an N95 mask. I have these shock respirators where they can put all kinds of things in it, but they're like an N95 because when you breathe out,
Look at that.
it sure isn't going to protect you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any mask with a button on it has a valve that lets everything go from you to your neighbor. It has no effect. Now, there is absolutely nothing that any of these masks do to protect you from me. And the fact is,
I don't know why he stopped. Oh. Okay, I'm going to stop it here. Okay. I like what he has to say, but I think that I don't want to waste time if it's not working properly. We got the point. Again, I'll post it, and I think that that. So I'm going to stop my share real quick. Okay.
Do you want
I think that that's,
you want to
Huh?
share those graphs?
are you ready to do that now? Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Then I'll share again.
We've got more to share,
So-
folks.
So, we kind of wanted to move through this and again, give you the data as we see it. Let's see. So let me go up. So these are graphs, and what these graphs are showing us is that it's showing us when the mask mandate was put in place, either in another country or here in the United States. And so these are the things that we want to cover. So we've got Austria. So you can see that they had a spike. They were going down, and the mandate still went on, and it went up. And this is in every country and every city. So we've got Germany, same thing. France, same thing. Spain. Am I going too fast? Is this okay?
Great. I think everybody can see that curve, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. Hey, Belgium.
Regardless,
All looks
going up.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is interesting too. Look at Italy. They waited right here. It went up.
At one of their lowest points,
Yeah. Yeah. So then we've got, okay, so this is European cases. And remember, these are all cases, not deaths. It's not anything. It's strictly cases.
Right.
And so here we've got masks required versus no masks required. And look at this. Where no masks are required, you have a little bit of a bump here. They just stay pretty level.
Mm-hmm.
Again, logic and reason and data. Logic and reason and data.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have, this one is, let's see, behavior changes tracker, wearing a face mask when in public places. So the United States, kind of just goes right along with everybody else. And, no matter what, wearing a mask, the cases went up.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're in the States. We've got California. So COVID cases, they required masks. They seriously peaked. But look, so masks are still required, but they're going down. So mask or no mask.
Right.
Hawaii, this is interesting too. We've got indoor masks. Then they started requiring outdoor masks. Again, this goes back to where's the logic and reason when we know that sunlight, it's Hawaii. Hawaii is all sun. It's beautiful all the time. You go outside, the virus dies, but they're requiring outdoor masks.
A lot of reasons why doesn't make sense to wear masks outside.
Yeah. So then we have Texas versus Georgia. And so Texas masks were required, Georgia no masks required. So you can see Texas jumped up, came down, jumped up, no masks required in Georgia. And it kind of was along the same lines, but still lower with no masks.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Logic and reason.
Yeah.
Logic and reason and data. Okay, so COVID-19 deaths. So we have New York, who wore masks, also put sick people in with elderly people. Sweden, just a side note, Sweden, no masks. Texas, masks. Georgia, no masks. So obviously New York had a massive spike, and I think so much of it is due to the fact that we lost a lot of our elderly in these care facilities because they are highly susceptible and they shouldn't be around people who have COVID. They already probably have comorbidities because they're elderly. And so we have a huge spike there. So then Sweden, of course, we have no masks, a little bit of spike, and look how low they are. Texas, masks required, jump up, and then down in Georgia, no mask ever required, and fairly flat line. So those are the charts, the graphs that I can't help it. I can't help to go back to logic, reason, and data. Logic, reason, and data. And there's a lot of that that's missing in these mandates.
Absolutely. Yeah. And how come all this information isn't being shared widely, right? Why is this not, for the masses to disseminate and make their own choices? This information is out there. You just have to look for it. And that shouldn't be the case. It should be more widely available, and not one narrative that promotes one thing. And the people that are sharing this information, I think we need to ask ourselves why they are being censored. Why is this information not able to be readily available? Because we even know, I mean, those are great graphs, and I think they show a lot. And I also want to point out, I think we may have touched on this before, that the death rates, again, there's a lot of question about what is considered a COVID death and how they mark that, and the loopholes there, and the vagueness of that, of how to, there's no laboratory proof or anything, needed. It can just be presumed, and they can mark it as a COVID death,
Yeah.
even though you just died with COVID, right? Not from, and there's a difference.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, there's a huge difference.
Yep. You're not talking about that, when you hear all these cases. And so many people are unnecessarily, afraid, because they don't know this information. It's not being given and provided to them. And
it's fear. It's all fear-based.
Yep.
Or it's mostly fear-based. Again, I go back to, we know that it's a real problem. Flu is a real problem. Heart disease is a real problem. We have a lot of real problems, but we need to have reason, self-accountability. I take care of me, you take care of you, we do our part, we take care of our family, and then we take care of our immune systems. We eat well, we exercise, we get out in the sun, we breathe fresh air. All of these things are the things that we don't hear in media or even in medicine. And we're going to sit here and we're going to, pound that in as long as we possibly can, because it's our world, it's what we do. But if, we have the potential of getting COVID, whether we're sick or not, but so many people are asymptomatic. We test more than any other country in the world. Why do our cases go up? Because we're testing.
Right.
Are they symptomatic or are they asymptomatic? Huh?
I said, because we're looking for it. We're going to find it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, of course, the cases are going to go up. But if they're asymptomatic, they are non-spreaders. I mean, that's just the way that it is. Kids are non-spreaders.
Asymptomatic people, mean they don't have symptoms. They're healthy individuals, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. We all have viruses. We have viruses that live in us, and they are mostly dormant. It's a part of life.
Yeah.
And most of us are asymptomatic with these viruses. Some of them aren't, and some of them can pop their little head up every now and then. We've got chickenpox and shingles, but we don't stop the country for chickenpox and shingles.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of. Go ahead.
No, go.
There's a lot of health catastrophes that we are not paying attention to, that are happening all the time. So it doesn't make any sense to single out this virus and act like we need to stay inside and, like you said, shut everything down and wear a mask and all these things. And you're right. I mean, I agree. Self-responsibility, personal responsibility. And we do want to look to healthcare providers, and we do want to look to government and people to have our best interest in mind and set policies in place and put things in place that help, that are in the best interest of our health. It's not just, that we want to be just out for ourselves or something. You know, we want that. And unfortunately, that's just not happening on a lot of levels. But I think one of the ways that we can change that because we don't appreciate that, is to get involved and stay engaged with one another, and learn about your body and learn about what you can do to help yourself, because helping and protecting your immunity and your health and encouraging health, I think, is one of the best ways that you can love on others. One of the best ways that you can show up. So yeah, and then we also just wanted to talk about, you know, again, on the topic of, and the idea of medical freedom and personal responsibility. I think also a lot of people are wearing these masks because they think they have to, because they think that it's a law. You know, so governors have written mandates or executive orders, and just so everybody knows, executive orders and mandates are not laws. They have not gone through the legislature. Governors do not have the ability to write law. They are neither that, nor are they legal or law enforcement. And so, so no emergency, no disease, no health, you know, catastrophe supersedes the fact that this is not a law. You know, they could write a new law, and at that point it would be something different. But currently, no one is actually ordered to wear a mask in a public place. They can go in and have access to the service just equal to everybody else. And if they are not provided access, it is discrimination. It's not equal service to provide somebody groceries on the sidewalk as it is to let them come in and shop. You know, it's like if you went to a gas station and the gas station, you wanted to use the bathroom, and the gas station employee said, you know, the gas station bathroom is only for employees and no outside people can use the bathroom. Well, that would be fine. That would be legal. But if the gas station employee says you cannot use the restroom unless you wear a mask, that's discrimination. And that's against our civil rights. And so having no evidence that this is protecting, and also having evidence that it could be harming, and it not being a law or a requirement, but just a recommendation, you know, again, I don't think that, I'm not personally going to move forward that way because of those reasons. And I just wanted to share that, because I think the more people that are aware of their rights, maybe they'd be more willing to step out.
Yeah, and I totally agree. But there's something that we also need to be really aware of too, is in this place where we have these government officials who are overstepping their bounds, right? Overstepping their bounds is essentially tyranny, but it's happening. But so what we have to also consider, and I said this to you earlier, this is not the devil's advocate kind of situation, but it's just where we're living right now. Mm-hmm. Is we have small businesses who feel the need, and I don't blame them at all. I'm in contact with a couple of them, you know, on a regular basis, who feel the need that they have to abide by these tyrannical mandates because they will overstep even more and come down and fine them or shut their business down. Legal or not, then they're going to have to go into a lawsuit. These small businesses don't have lawsuits. So the fact is, there's a situation where it's no longer about the overstepping. I mean, it's about the overstepping of the government, but it's about respecting the business too, because we don't want these businesses to go out of business. Right. And so, you know, I go to a business on a weekly basis, and I respect that business, and it's my choice to go or not. I don't have to go, but because I want to still provide business to small local businesses, I want to help them to continue to thrive in the environment that we're in. So it is my choice, although I don't believe it to be real. Not real is not the right word. I don't believe it to be healthy or that anything that I'm doing is actually benefiting anyone else. Only reason I do it is because I'm supporting the business and I want the business to do well. So it's a really sad, nasty, double-edged sword. And this is, one of the things we ended with on our last call was, or our last Functional Friday was, and it's kind of happening, but we have rights. The people rule the nation. Government doesn't rule the nation. We are supposed to be the ones who rule the government, and we need to stand up and say, this is what needs to happen. Have personal responsibilities, self-accountability. I take care of me. I take care of my family. You take care of you. You take care of your family. And then, that in and of itself helps to then build community. But living in fear, mandating out of fear, which perpetuates fear, is not the way that we're intended to live in the United States. But as far as I'm concerned, as a human,
Yeah.
So
Totally.
it's a tough place to be. It's a really tough place to be, and it stinks.
Oh, yes, and I agree. And I don't know if this is helpful, but my understanding is that as a small business owner, that once you have that certificate of business, that you are then what's considered a public accommodation, meaning that you are open to the public and you cannot discriminate against anyone. You can't require them to do anything to get your services. So that's the legal, that's the legality of it. Unfortunately, they may do things that are illegal and shut your business down, and then you'd have to take them to court and sue them, and you would probably win. But to go through all that is a big nightmare, and I think that that's what you're talking about. But I do want to empower people just to know that that's the case. They don't really have to do that, So, but yeah, it's a big mess. But I think to your point, the more that we can stick together, understand our rights, and share with one another and come together, it's our responsibility to protect our health, and it's their responsibility to protect our rights to do that.
Right. Absolutely. Perfect.
And on that note,
so I think,
how long are we going to do this? That's another question. How long can we have this emergency, and what constitutes an emergency? Right. That's something that we all need to be asking. And if, how can we mandate something to individuals that has a potential for harm, right? Until we can prove that none of these things where they're showing harm, I mean, we've only touched on just a few. If they can't prove to the contrary, then what kind of rule is that? How does that protect us or help us? How does that help our health?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question. I hope somebody can answer it for you soon.
Exactly. Like you said, so we're just going to keep talking about things that you do promote health and do promote wellness, and do encourage us and empower us, and share the science and share what we find. Let's stand together. Let's come together.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're so separated and divided right now. I think it's important to really make that point, that we're still humans in an amazing country, and we are more powerful together than we are divided, and that's our goal. So
and you can do whatever you want to do. Everybody can do. We're not trying to tell anybody how to live their life or what to do. You do you, and
or not to worry.
And I'll do me, right? But I don't think anything should be mandated on my body.
Right. Absolutely.
So if you'd like to learn more or work with us, we'll just share real quick where you can find us. So I'm at livingwelldallas.com, or on social media, a lot of the outlets, including YouTube, under Gabrielle Grandel. And if you would like to give a call, I do free 20-minute phone consultations if you want to see if it's a good fit to work together. And that phone number is 972-930-0260. And Nikki, where can they find you?
So yeah, so tastelifenutrition.com is pretty much me on everywhere. So the website, all the social media, except we do have Functional Friday, obviously, and then I do a Real Raw Health for feeding dogs real raw food, and so I do that weekly as well. So beyond that, reach out. We have, I do the same. I do free consultations. I have a free assessment on the website, and sorry, I'm getting distracted. So fill out the free assessment on the website, and I will reach out to you personally, and we'll talk about what your needs are, and if we're a good fit, and if we want to move forward, or just give some ideas on what things might be able to help. So, we do invite you to join in on the discussion. If you want to post comments below, send us some facts, send us some studies and data. That's the stuff that we love. So we just appreciate, the conversation, and we appreciate, all of you who hang out with us when we do these.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for listening. And we're going to do this again first Friday of next month, which is Friday, December 4th. It's 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 Mountain Time. The plan is to talk about the V word. So be there. And I hope you guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
well.
We'll see you later.
Have a good weekend.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.